If you've ever watched a movie, and I mean, of course you have, you know that moment.
Oh, yeah.
That scene where the hero's about to figure it all out or the tension is just building and building.
Yeah.
You don't just see it, you feel it. Like your heart starts beating faster, you're leaning in.
And that feeling,
Yeah.
the visceral reaction, it's not an accident.
Right.
It is the secret language of film music. And it's a very specialized, highly technical art form. When you peel it all back, you see its real job isn't just to be some pleasant background noise.
Yeah.
Its main job is to emotionally direct you, to tell you exactly how you should be feeling in any given moment. Excitement, sadness, terror, whatever it is.
Exactly. It's the art of turning emotion into sound. I mean, think about a big action scene. If you hit mute,
It looks ridiculous.
totally, it just looks awkward. Every single note is chosen to build this like immediate emotional connection between the screen and you. It's a shortcut to getting us invested. So who's the architect behind all of this? We have to talk about the film composer. This is the person who writes all the original music.
And here's something that surprises a lot of people. They usually don't even start working until after the movie's been filmed and edited into a rough cut.
That's right. The footage is pretty much locked. Imagine getting handed a 2-hour movie and being told, okay, write all the music for this, you have a few weeks.
Wow. The pressure must be immense.
It is. The composer basically becomes this super speed writer. They have to dive into the footage, watch it over and over.
Dozens of times.
Dozens of times. To understand the precise timing of every single shot, every cut.
And their relationship with the director is just absolutely critical here. The director has the vision, but the composer is drawing the emotional map.
100%. They have to work together to decide where music should, fade in slowly or where it should just stop cold for maximum impact.
So it's not just about knowing music theory.
Oh, not at all. It's music theory, sure, but it's also psychology, even physics. And they have to work incredibly fast because those production schedules are just brutal. The score is often one of the very last things to get done. Which brings us to this key meeting, right? The spotting session.
Yes. This is the most vital meeting in the whole process. It's not just some casual chat.
So what happens?
The composer and director sit down, usually with the editor too, and they watch the entire film from start to finish, a whole thing.
And the only goal is to map out the music.
Exactly. It's the ultimate planning session. It could take a whole day. They're deciding exactly where music is needed, what mood it should create, and for how long.
And each piece of music is called a cue.
Right. A cue. So if a scene needs 3 minutes of suspenseful music that builds into 20 seconds of action, that's one cue. They take incredibly detailed notes.
Down to the second.
Down to the frame, really.
Yeah.
They use a time code. But what's also fascinating is they consciously decide where there should be silence. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is have no music at all. Just that the visuals or the dialogue carry the weight. Silence can be absolutely deafening.
Okay, so once they have this map of cues, the composer needs some tools to organize it all. This is where we get into the real heart of it. Creating recurring melodies, or what we call a musical theme, a leitmotif.
A leitmotif, it's basically a musical fingerprint. A melody that stands for a specific character, a place, an object.
Like Darth Vader's theme.
Exactly, the Imperial March, or those 2 simple, terrifying notes from Jaws. You hear that, you know exactly what's coming. It's a direct line to your brain.
And what's so smart is that these themes aren't static. They can change.
That's the real genius of it. They evolve with the character. So if your hero is winning, their theme is probably played by loud, bold brass instrument.
Right, triumphant.
But if that same hero is sad or defeated, you might hear that same melody played very slowly, maybe just by a single violin. It subtly tells you their emotional state.
So it can foreshadow things without anyone saying a word.
Totally. If you hear a villain's dark, scary theme suddenly played on like a soft flute, it might signal that they're having a moment of doubt. It makes the story feel so much deeper.
So beyond the melody, you have what's called instrumentation and color.
Which just means choosing the right instruments for the job.
To create a mood.
Exactly. It's like painting with sound. Flutes and harps, for example, they sound light and magical. Think fairy tales.
Then on the other end,
heavy drums, low brass like tubas. That immediately signals intense action or dread. You know you're in a war movie the second those sounds hit.
And the choice of instrument can also make a scene feel big or small.
For sure. A huge orchestra gives you that grand, epic feeling. But if you strip it all down to a solo piano,
it's personal.
It becomes incredibly intimate, like you're right there with the character, feeling what they feel. And of course, today, synthesizers are huge for sci-fi or horror.
Okay, and the last big tool is tempo. the speed of the music.
This is so important. A fast tempo literally gets your heart rate up. It creates urgency, nervousness.
While a slow tempo helps you relax or focus on the dialogue.
Right. And the composer has to match the tempo to the film's editing. Lots of quick cuts, you need faster music. A long slow motion shot can have slow flowing music.
But sometimes they do the opposite, right?
Yes. And that's really clever.
Mhm.
Putting very calm, steady music under a super chaotic action scene. It creates this really unsettling tension. It feels like doom is inevitable rather than just panic.
All right, now we get to the really technical part. Synchronization.
The technical Everest, yeah.
Making sure the music happens at the exact same time as the action. We're talking precision down to a fraction of a second.
It's incredible. And if you look at how it used to be done, I mean, early composers literally used stopwatches.
Stopwatches.
Stopwatches and grease pencils marking right on the film reel itself. They were working with physical film. So they had to know that music starting at, say, the 35-foot mark of the reel needed to hit its peak at the 40-foot mark.
Feet and inches. That's amazing.
It refers to the literal length of the film. 35 millimeter of film runs at 24 frames per second. 1 foot of it has 16 frames. So they weren't just timing seconds, they were timing physical distance on a strip of plastic.
So how does that translate to today?
Well, now we use digital timecode minutes, seconds, and frames. But that legacy of precision is still there. A composer has to know a cue needs to end on, frame 12,045 exactly.
It's digital choreography. They have software now where they can see the musical notes laid out right under the movie clip.
Precisely. You need that sharp musical sting to hit the exact moment a character slams a door. If it's off by even a single frame, the audience feels it. They might not know why, but it feels wrong.
We should probably mention Mickey Mousing.
Ah, yeah. That's an older term for when the music mimics every little movement a character slips. You hear a little musical slide.
Like in old cartoons.
Exactly. Modern scoring mostly avoids that. The goal now is to score the emotion of the scene, not the literal action. The timing is perfect, but the purpose is emotional.
Oh, boy.
So once the score is all written and timed out, it's time to actually record it. And this happens on what's called a scoring stage.
Which is basically a huge recording studio designed for an orchestra.
A massive one, yeah. This is where it all comes to life.
So you have the composer, or maybe a conductor, leading this huge orchestra while watching the movie on a giant screen. How did, 80 musicians all stay perfectly in time with a movie they're probably seeing for the first time?
The click track.
A click track.
Every musician wears headphones, and in those headphones is a perfect digital metronome that's timed to the film's time code. It tells them the exact speed, when to slow down, when to speed up.
So they're playing to the film, not the other way around. The film's timing is king.
It absolutely is. It's a super high-pressure environment. It can take a whole day to record just a few minutes of music. Sometimes they even record in layers.
Strings first, then brass, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. It gives them more control in the final mix. But having that live orchestra adds this human element that's just so hard to replicate with a computer.
So after it's all recorded, you get to mixing and mastering.
The final puzzle. Mixing is all about balance. The sound engineer takes everything, all the orchestra track, the dialogue, the sound effects like footsteps, and blends them together.
Making sure nothing is too loud or too quiet.
And crucially, they have to duck the music when people are talking, so you can always hear the actors clearly. They adjust frequencies so a high violin doesn't clash with an actor's voice.
And they add effects like reverb to make the music sound like it's in the same space as the character.
Exactly. If they're in a giant cathedral, the music needs to echo like it's in a cathedral.
And mastering is the very last step.
Yeah. The final polish. Just make sure the audio sounds great whether you're in a huge movie theater or just watching at home on your TV. A great mix is everything. Too quiet, you lose the emotion. Too loud, you lose the story. It's interesting because we're talking about these huge orchestras, but not every modern movie does that. We've seen a huge shift toward electronic and hybrid scores.
Right. Synthesizers and computers can make sounds that, a cello just can't make.
For sure. That's why they're so popular for horror movies, where you want these unsettling, weird sounds. Or for sci-fi, where you want something that sounds futuristic and cold.
And a hybrid score is sort of the best of both worlds.
It's the most common thing today, really. You combine a live string section, for example, with powerful digital sounds. For a lot of filmmakers, it's more affordable than hiring a full orchestra for weeks on end.
Then you have the total opposite approach, using pre-existing pop songs for a soundtrack.
Right, which are chosen by a music supervisor. It's a completely different job.
And pop music can instantly set the time period. You hear a song from the 80s, you know exactly when the movie is set.
It does that perfectly.
Yeah.
And audiences already have an emotional connection to that music, which the movie can then borrow.
But there's a big trade-off there.
A huge one. That song wasn't written for that specific scene.
So it might not fit the emotional moments perfectly.
The director ends up having to fit the scene to the song instead of the other way around. And licensing famous songs can be wildly expensive, sometimes more expensive than creating an original score.
So at the end of the day, whether it's this giant orchestral score or a single pop song, the impact is just undeniable. A great score stays with you. It's the sound of the story.
It really is. It has this invisible power to make us feel things, to make us cry or jump out of our seats. It bridges the gap between that fictional world and our actual real emotions. It's like the film's silent narrator.
So for you, watching at home, the next time you put on a movie, really listen. Don't just hear the music, listen to it. Ask yourself why it's doing what it's doing.
Yeah, if a hero's theme is suddenly quiet and sad, what is the composer telling you about them? The music isn't just decoration. It's directing your feelings, giving you the truth that the dialogue might be hiding.
That collaboration between what you see and what you hear is what makes movies so powerful.
It's a unique art form.
See you next time.